Are introverts misunderstood? Do we even understand ourselves? I asked other introverts if they think they're misunderstood, or if we misunderstand each other. And I kind of guessed the answers. So when I asked other introverts if they feel misunderstood, most of them said yes. And it's because that being an introvert isn't something that's understood by everyone, even introverts. A lot of people think that being an introvert means you're shy and quiet. And whilst that may be true in some cases, it doesn't define introversion. Introversion is to do with your energy and how much you have to give to other people. Our social batteries get drained a lot more, whereas an extrovert's social battery is like constantly on. They can keep going, they can do lots of things. But we need to come back to our own space. We need time to recharge. We can't constantly be on the go, and we get really drained from socialising and being out and about and doing lots of things. Someone said that their intentions are often misunderstood as an introvert, that their need for quiet often goes questioned. People don't understand why they need time to recharge, or why they like being on their own. If we don't do that for ourselves, we easily burn out. So we need that time alone to recharge our energy. It's not us being selfish, it's just something that we need to do. A lot of people don't understand that. They think that we're being cold, or that we don't like people, and that we don't like socialising, and that's just not the case. Introverts aren't dramatic for wanting alone time. But when people question our need for it, our need for quiet and our need for solitude, we feel like there is something wrong with us. There really isn't, but it's the fact that other people can't seem to wrap their heads around us needing to be alone. Let me tell you now, there is nothing wrong with being alone. There is nothing wrong with loving your own space. It's just part of your personality. Not everyone will get that. Not everyone will understand why you are the way you are. But that goes for extroverts too. Not everyone will understand why they're so loud and why they are so outgoing, why they seem to have so much confidence. As introverts, we don't always understand them. So we can't expect them to understand us all the time as well. Sometimes introverts can be mistaken for being extroverted, or it might not be easy to pick up on whether someone is an introvert or not. And that's because a lot of times we can go out and love socialising, and we can be very good around people. So we don't fit the typical stereotype of being a quiet person, especially if we're out and about with friends and talking and vibing and just enjoying things. Someone might not necessarily think, oh, this is an introvert. It's only when we start saying no to plans and saying that we'd prefer to be indoors that our introversion is then picked up on. And people can't quite get this. They're like, oh, why don't you want to come out? Like, you came out before, you were so fun. Oh, don't be boring. But they don't understand that we need that time. We need to recharge. We can't constantly keep going. Our battery is drained. So that makes us feel misunderstood, because we feel like we need that time alone. But we also fear of missing out on other things as well. People make us feel like we're not as fun, or you might start to question yourself and think, am I actually boring? The fact that you want your own space does not make you a boring person. What you're doing is listening to yourself. You're listening to your mind and your body and knowing what you need. It's not about trying to please other people. It's about knowing what's right for you and understanding your energy. Now, I want to talk about feeling misunderstood because you don't quite understand yourself. A lot of people can misunderstand themselves and not truly get what it means to be an introvert. If someone's depressed or socially anxious, they might label themselves as an introvert when they're really not, because these things aren't tied to introversion. Introverts aren't socially anxious. Introverts don't try and hide away from people, and introverts aren't depressed people. Depression is something that can happen to anyone. Being a quiet person doesn't mean that you're going to get these things or experience them more. And this is where people get confused, because they think that introversion is tied to those things. I've heard that people think that introversion is a disorder and something that they need to change and improve about themselves. And it's really not, because being an introvert is just part of your personality. That's not something you can easily change. People think that you're born an introvert, and I think it definitely can be inherited. But introversion is something that can also be influenced by your environment and your upbringing and your experiences. So think of it this way, it's like as you grow older, it's like what shapes you? What is shaping you into the person that you are? And what feels right for you? Do you like being a social person? Do you have lots of energy to give? Are you always wanting to do things? Or do you much prefer to be on your own, sitting and reading a book, or just doing quiet activities? That's what separates introverts and extroverts. It's the difference in how we live our lives and how we experience things. Now, the reason that extroverts misunderstand introverts and vice versa is that what is normal to them is not normal to us. So being loud, being outgoing, being socially on the go, that's not normal for us. We don't do that. But to extroverts, being alone, enjoying our own space, needing time to recharge, those things aren't normal to them. So they're going to pick up on that more in another person because they themselves don't experience it. If you haven't experienced something, you're not going to understand it. You have to have lived something or have to be able to relate to someone in some way to understand what someone's going through or why they are the way they are. The thing to remember is that you don't need everyone to understand you because that's just life. People aren't going to understand each other and not everyone is going to get along. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you understand yourself. You understand yourself enough to know what is right for you and what's wrong for you. The problem isn't being misunderstood. The problem is letting other people's opinions influence how you act and how you live your life. So yes, introverts are misunderstood. But isn't everyone? Don't we all go through life feeling misunderstood in some way? We can't change that. But we can change how we think about ourselves and how we feel. Now, if you're looking to understand yourself better, I've got a free guide for introverts, and I'll leave a link in the description below. So thank you so much for watching, and always be your wonderful introverted self.